This is for my friends who are in political organizations or semi-political organizations, or who are leaders of those organizations. We have a Democratic primary coming up, at which point in time the Democrats are going to select the candidate to run against the Republican. Now, for the first time that I can remember, we actually have a chance of defeating the Republicans in the 21st Congressional District, which is presently occupied by Brian Mast. Now, the Republicans are up to their eyeballs again. They're now trying to change the composition of that district to make it a safe Republican district. They wouldn't be doing that if they weren't concerned. So we can do it, but you can't do it with just anybody, and you can't do it just anybody who happens to have family money. You need a candidate who can understand the issues, talk about the issues, be convincing on the issues, who has experience in fighting about the issues, who has experience in democratic politics, and who knows how to take the fight directly to the Republican establishment. And also who has the ability to speak to and communicate with our Republican friends, because we absolutely have to have them as well as independents if we're going to win this election. So what I'm calling upon all of you to do, please have a series of events, not one or two, a series of events where you set up debates. There are 4 candidates right now, Democrats running for this seat. Have a series of debates where all of us have the opportunity to sit in front of you, argue the issues between and among each other, and answer your questions. That's the only way you're going to have enough information to understand who you are going to select to carry this battle on your behalf, because that's what you're doing. You're looking for a standard bearer. But you can't really make that determination if you don't have a chance to see all of us competing with each other for ideas, views, backgrounds, whatever. That's essential to get this job done properly, so you select the candidate that has the best chance of actually winning. I'm not saying I'm that candidate. What I'm saying is, please engage in a process, and all of you can do it. There should be debates going on all the time with us. We could traveling, whatever you want to call it, circus show. We should be out there in front of you regularly. And instead, it's like we're lucky to get 2 or 3 minutes. I went to this fundraising affair for David Jolly, whom I'm supporting for governor. I was very impressed with him this time. Not always so much in the past. This time he was a lot of very specifics, and I'm a specifics person. Very specific ideas and views and programs and so on, and I was really impressed with him. But the candidates were there. All 4 of us were there, and we had 3 minutes apiece to talk. 3 minutes for the House of Representatives, for the Congress of the United States, a co-equal branch with the President and the Senate and the Judiciary, and here we are, allowed 3 minutes apiece. Now, I was able to say some things in that 3 minutes. That's actually, because I've been a trial lawyer for years, I know how to compress an argument into a specific amount of time. And unlike some of the other candidates, I didn't have to be pushed off stage, and I was able to conclude my remarks exactly at 3 minutes. But 3 minutes to discuss the myriad of complex issues facing us right now in this country, facing the Congress, including artificial intelligence, which I'm telling you right now is a nightmare. We just lost jobs for the first time, I think it was the last 3 months, in as far back as I can remember. We lost no jobs during the Biden administration. Suddenly we're losing jobs, and a lot of those jobs we're losing, and a lot of those jobs we're not getting, are a direct result of artificial intelligence. That's just one of the many challenges of artificial intelligence. I think there's a real national security issue there because of the way artificial intelligence operates, and I know a lot about this. I'm not an expert in artificial intelligence, but I have a physics degree. I have degrees in a minor in calculus. I have worked with artificial intelligence. I understand the technology, and I know how to get the answers, and I understand some of the challenges and very real dangers from artificial intelligence. Right now it's just a nuisance. You go to do legal research and they give you an answer but no case citations. Yeah, it's really annoying. But you need to hear from us. in detail to discuss all of these issues. It's not enough to say I was, lived my whole life in one state, or I was in some branch of the armed services, therefore I am entitled to be a congressman. You need to hear from us. So please, whatever you can do, if you're listening to me and you're a member of any organization, we have lots of organizations dedicated to putting on demonstrations where people wave signs, but none of those organizations are getting behind a candidate, nor should they necessarily do that. But they should provide a forum, because instead of just waving signs, and I got nothing against that, that's a good way to drum up support and show, that we have a pulse. We, I mean those of us on this side of the political issues, on our side of the political issues. And that should include a lot of Republicans. And I was just going to say, too, when you have debates, don't just limit their participation in those debates to Democrats. Let's invite Republicans. Let's invite independents. Let's make them, and maybe some groups could get together and maybe rent some space or have something outdoors. If the problem is enough space to hold a substantial crowd. It's doable, but we can't just sit around and keep twirling around in the same area over and over again and then go out in a general election and get clobbered again. We lost the last election by over 50,000 votes. Over 50,000 votes. That's outrageous when you consider the useless Republican Congress that we have and how the things that they do to just give carte blanche to this administration. Fortunately, you're seeing some pushback now because of these murders, and there's no other war crimes. There's no other way to classify what they're doing in the Caribbean, and I can't believe that people are just now speaking out about it. Because I couldn't believe it when I saw it happen. I was infuriated by it. Remember, I have a background in JAG, and I was raised on the COMJ, and I just, my father was a judge advocate general. He was retired as a full colonel, stayed on as a brigadier general equivalent civil job running that department. It was right below the Secretary of Defense. I worked for Air Force JAG as a major, as a civilian equivalent of a major. So I looked at that thing with my background and a basic sense of morality, and saw what they were bombing, these little tiny boats. These are not like yachts. These are small boats. I had a boat about that same size. I took it to the Bahamas one time, and it scared me to death. So it's like, and they are on the high seas, and they think they're going to take these boats full of what? It sure as hell ain't fentanyl, maybe cocaine, and highly unlikely they were going to try to take those all the way from Venezuela all the way to Florida. Maybe we would have trapped on some islands along the way. But regardless of that, when I saw that, I said, I cannot believe that they just did that. I saw the pictures of the boats being blown out of the water. Little tiny boats. And I said, they killed a bunch of people, maybe some innocent people, maybe just fishermen, but whatever they are, you don't go killing people like that. We are not at war, and the war on drugs, as I remember Richard Nixon first started this, talking about a war on drugs. It's not a war. It's a euphemism invented by Richard Nixon. So I've talked about this, and I promise not to talk about it again, but what I'm saying is that when I saw that, I said, why aren't there more Democrats speaking out against this? And why aren't Democratic Party generally, why is our response less than forceful? And I'm talking now about people, Democrats in the Congress right now. They say the right things, but there's no passion. We need to get some passion back in the Democratic Party. And we need to have a forum for those of us who are running for Congress to express our views and be seen in competition with each other, so that you can make a reasonable and informed selection. So it's not to criticize, it's just a suggestion, but I hope you listen to it, because we have to do things differently. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. That's what Einstein said. What I said, Einstein, is, no, what really drives people crazy is if you have my computer and you keep doing the same thing over and over again and you keep getting different results. So, but I don't want to take issue with Einstein. We went to high school together, and he was a nice fellow. It's amazing how many people with whom I went to high school. I don't want to get off on that track. What I want you to do is have debates. Yeah, thank you. Not as a personal favor to me, as a favor to yourselves.